Art sportif Senate. Les juges pour ce combat, the judges for this bout. Marie-Josée Guérin, Claude Paquette et Pasquale Procopio. L'arbitre de referee, Alain Villeneuve. Présentant tout premièrement dans le coin bleu, introducing first in the blue corner. He weighed in at 175 pounds, wearing blue. His professional record, 13 wins with only 2 defeats, with 4 wins coming by way of knockout. From Russia, introducing the Volga Cossack, Konstantin Piternov. Son adversaire dans le coin rouge, his opponent in the red corner. Wearing black, trimmed with gold, il porte la culotte noire et or. Il enregistre un poids de 174 livres. He weighed in at 174 pounds. Il est invaincu chez les professionnels. He is undefeated as a professional with 6 wins and 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Originally from Winnipeg, now fighting out of Ottawa, Ontario, ladies and gentlemen, Andy Gardiner.
Gentlemen, receive my instruction for the fight. I want to clean fight with it yourself. All time. Last job.
25-year-old Andy Gardiner. You mentioned this as a step up and everything. He wanted to fight Eleider Alvarez. The guy's ranked number 9 in the world, and he was going to fight him on like about a day notice last time.
And he nearly did. There were irregularities in Danny McIntosh's brain scan, and he almost got to step in. But this is a guy who is Lucian Bute's chief sparring partner. He spars with Pascal, with David Lemieux, with Alvarez as well. And we mentioned he is all action, all pressure, all the time.
He's like I think you mentioned before. He's actually a kind of a version of. He's very similar to Brandon Cook, who we saw earlier. Guy's just going to stick his head in your chest and let's do this. How would you compare? I know they're different weight classes, but how would you compare a Gardiner to a Cook? 6 fights, 8 fights. Are these on similar paths?
I would think so. I mean, Gardiner obviously is looking to take the elevator here to the top, so perhaps he's a little farther along, although their records wouldn't indicate that. But Gardiner is just a guy who loves to fight. He loves contact. And the book on him out of the gym is that he can keep this kind of pace for 12 rounds. Stefan LaRouche was extremely impressed with him, working with Lucian Bute, and credited him with really getting Lucian ready for Denis Grachev.
Piternov 13-2, 4 knockouts. Coming off a 12-round majority decision defeat to Karen Avatizian back on October 1st, 2011. So a little bit of ring rust for the 29-year-old out of Russia. Gardiner, I believe, he lands a right hand. He's based in Ottawa now, originally from Winnipeg, and moved to Ottawa to be close to his trainer manager Eric Belanger.
That's correct. Yeah, you heard about Eric Belanger and had worked with him a little bit on the Canadian national team, and decided that if he wanted to make something of a pro career, being out west in Winnipeg really wasn't the best choice for him.
Gardiner comes in, puts his head and shoulders down and throwing punches, gets in the left. Piternov has been in with some good competition. Dmitry Sikovsky stopped him in 5. We saw Sikovsky last summer on Well TV pay-per-view.
Now, to be fair to Piternov, he took the Sikovsky fight on less than a week's notice, stepping in for Jose Alberto Clavero. We mentioned Piternov, a well-respected, very decorated amateur in Russia, and you can see some of that. He does some cute things along the ropes, likes to shoe shine with these short arm combinations, but that isn't going to be enough to get Andy Gardiner off of him.
Good left from Gardiner and a straight right as we end round 1. Scheduled for 8. Good first round for Andy Gardiner. One of our lovely round card girls tells us it's about to become round 2. You see some of the action in round 1, Corey.
Well, I'll take a good look at this because it'll probably fall into this pattern for the rest of the fight. It's Andy Gardiner right on top of Piternov, and Piternov countering well at times, but didn't land too many eye-catching blows. It was Gardiner all over him, and obviously dictating where the fight was taking place. He'd have to give round 1 to Andy Gardiner.
We begin round 2, scheduled for 8. Gardiner in the black and gold, Piternov in the black. It was interesting, they touched gloves, and Piternov thought that Gardiner was going to sneak him one. And Gardiner coming right after him. Left hook from Gardiner. Another one. They begin to fire off shots in the corner.
That was a good counter left hook that Gardiner threw, and that's one of the things he's going to be working on as he moves up. He's really thinking about some of these shots. We know that he can throw 100 punches around. We know that he can just continue to let the leather fly. But can he place some of these shots, especially when he has a guy along the ropes with some decent head movement like Piternov?
Good right hand from Andy Gardiner. Piternov trying to throw some combinations and try to stop this onslaught from Gardiner. Gardiner gets in a left to the top of the head. Gardiner come off a third-round stoppage over Attila Tabor-Nagy back on December 14th. That was shown live on Well TV.
That, of course, was the night that he may have faced Alida Alvarez. A little bit of a letdown, stepping down then to face Tabor-Nagy, but he did his job. A lot of names were thrown around as potential opponents for Gardiner. He actually nearly fought Sean Hawk here on this card. Couldn't come to a deal, and Piternov was chosen and flown in instead.
Well, good right hand from Piternov. You know, talking to Eric the other day, Eric Belanger, they're very high on him. And you have a guy like Hawk who's challenged for a world title recently. Talk about fighting a guy like Alvarez as Gardiner just continues to just let his hands go. Eats a little left on the inside and another left.
Well, Gardiner's cut above his left eye. A little nick. We'll see if that bothers him in any way.
There's a cut. Yeah, it's the left eye. That blood is on the back of Piтерnov's head somehow. Actually, Piternov has a bloody nose, I think, as well.
Camila Stefan, the head of Eye of the Tiger Promotions, who's putting this event on, said this was likely to steal the show, and he doesn't have to say that. Andy Gardiner's not his fighter. And this is the fight that a lot of people were looking forward to in Canadian boxing circles.
Well, when both guys are bloody, you know so far it's been a pretty good scrap. See the corner of Piternov. The man working the cut in Gardiner's corner is Bob Miller. Long-time upstate New York, Canada-type boxing man.
He's been the cut man for virtually every notable Canadian fighter over the past 25 years or more.
Bob's a boxing lifer. He's been a promoter, cut man, manager.
Son's a fighter as well, Sean.
Yes, sir. Noted heavyweight. Fought some good scraps, television scraps back in the day. Round 3, scheduled for 8. Both the cuts were tended to. And Andy Gardiner coming out, throwing punches and bunches to start this round as he's trying to make it uncomfortable for Piternov.
Well, he has tattoos of Rocky Marciano, Arturo Gatti, and Mickey Ward on his arm, so I think you get a sense for what he wants his identity to be in the ring.
I don't know how you could pick that out with all those tattoos on both of his arms.
Very good contact lenses.
That's why I call you the maven of Canadian boxing. Left hook and a right to the body. Piternov tries an uppercut.
I'm sure this is not what Piternov expected when he signed on to face a 6-0 fighter. Gardiner may be cut on the other eye. I can't tell.
Yeah, it looks like there is some blood from there. I don't know if it's from Piternov or Gardiner just keeps coming forward. He probably likes it that he's bleeding a little bit, being that he's got Gotti, Ward, and Marciano tattooed on him.
This is the kind of fight that he wanted, and this is why he wanted to step up.
To be honest, there's probably not even enough blood for him yet, as Piternov gets in a little left. But hey, this is, every young fighter's got to go through this. This is one of these learning stages here. Fighting through cuts.
And he's still getting the best of Piternov.
Absolutely.
But had he continued fighting the type of opposition that he was fighting before, these, sub 500 opponent types, they would have wilted by now. Now Piternov digging to the body.
These good left hooks and a right from Andy Gardiner. Slips in the corner. Combination from Piternov. He slips the left hook.
Those are those kind of dicing combinations that probably have contributed to busting Andy Gardiner up.
There actually may be a couple cuts on the round that right eye, because he's got one where the blood is just there, and then he's got some other stuff streaming down his cheek now.
Again, you ask why they would move Andy Gardiner this fast. This is why, because when you fight like this, you cut like that, and there's a short timeline on what you can do when you're as exciting as Andy Gardiner.
End of 3 scheduled for 8. You see some of the action here.
Both guys doing some really good work. Gardiner pounding away to the body, just missing with that right hand. That's where he slipped. Kind of kept himself up. Piternov keeps landing shots like that. A quick uppercut, a quick flurry here and there. There's not a lot on them. But again, those kind of quick combinations that'll carve you up in close. Kind of scraping across the face, and that's probably why Andy Gardiner's face is a crimson mask already.
Round number 4 scheduled for 8 here at the Hilton Casino Lac Lemay in Gatineau, Quebec, Canada. Gardiner coming out jabbing, throwing the combinations. Konstantin Piternov. Jab from Gardiner. Gardiner just continuing just to move his hands and find the target. Combination from Piternov. Gardiner goes to the body.
Gardiner now kind of leaning to his right, maybe trying to dig that right hand in there. But it's kind of taken some steam off of his left hook. He's forced to reach with a little bit.
Also makes his right eye a little less easy to target as well. Which is the eye that, in my opinion, was a little bit worse for Ware as we ended round 3.
Both guys kind of laboring a little bit on the inside there. Gardiner a little unsure of what he wanted to get off with.
Piternov may have a little window here. As you said, Gardner's, until then, he just misses with the uppercut.
It's not true to say that Gardiner fights in spurts, Mark, but he has these surges of extra energy at times during these rounds.
Gardiner ducks underneath, misses with the right hand. 3 jabs from Andy Gardiner right on the nose of Dmitry Piternov. Konstantin Piternov. I don't like him, Dmitry. As you see the blood streaming down the right cheek still of Andy Gardiner. Uppercut, good combination from Piternov.
Bob Miller's certainly going to earn his paycheck here tonight. Got a lot of work to do on Andy Gardiner here in the corner.
Seems he's done a good job with the left side. We are halfway home. Scheduled for 8, Gardiner and Piternov here in Gatineau.
Well, Gardiner certainly slowed down in that round, but in terms of his jab, that was the best use of it so far in the fight.
We look into the corner of Konstantin Piternov.
See more of the action here. That's one of these surges of energy for Gardiner in that round. But there you see the jab. He started to get it working, and perhaps it's because he's tiring and he needs a little bit of a crutch. Perhaps the eye is bothering him, but in any event, he made the necessary adjustment on the fly.
Round number 5. Gardiner and Piternov. A little housekeeping in the Piternov corner. Gardiner throws a jab out there. Misses with the right hand. Ducks underneath the left hook of Piternov.
Piternov seems comfortable with the fact that he's going to get outworked here, but maybe eyeing an opening for a stoppage. If he can make that cut any worse. Or perhaps thinking that Gardiner at some point is going to slow down, come to a screeching halt, and that's when he can jump on it.
Jab from Gardiner. Sticks it out there again. And Piternov in a southpaw stance here for a brief moment. Body shot from Gardiner.
Gardiner's camp thought that Piternov might come right at him. He has not done any of that so far. He's not running or spoiling by any means, but he hasn't been trying to force the action.
Been a bit of a slow round compared to the first 4. Little left, good right hand from Piternov. Jab from Gardiner.
Piternov has been dropping that right hand over the top with regularity here in this round.
Right from Gardiner, he misses with a wild left. Good body shot from Gardiner.
But Piternov still isn't filling these gaps and these lulls when Gardiner isn't on top of him. Piternov could be doing a lot more, but he's still allowing Gardiner to get in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, Piтерnov's actually has opportunities here to kind of box from the outside a little bit, like now, and he just got the earmuffs on. There he tries a 1-2. And on the inside, it's always me, Gardiner, throwing 3-4 punches to every one of Piternov.
It's just difficult to handle that kind of work rate when you're trying to impress the judges. You have to do a lot to convince them that you're the one who won the round. And
end of round 5, scheduled for 8.
there may be a round or two that you could have given to Piternov, but it's tough to make that kind of case with the kind of work and the amount of punches that Gardiner's throwing.
Some of the action of round 5. Piternov gets in a good uppercut there and a decent body shot. So all the work he's doing there, he's still, like Corey just said, he could do a lot. He could have done a lot more in that round and really put a stamp on that round, but
right, he's allowing these rounds to become swing rounds. You could have given that round to Piternov. Did some clever countering along the ropes, but he's not asserting himself.
Round number 6. Piternov and Gardiner, right over the top from Andy Gardiner.
The eye of Gardiner looking dramatically better in this round. Some good work from Bob Miller in the corner.
Right over the top from Gardiner. Gardiner now has Piternov on the ropes. Piternov asking him to come in. I think the one thing about Andy Gardiner, I don't think you have to ask him to come inside again.
No, he's coming anyway. And Piternov seems okay with that.
Andy Gardiner throws about 6 punches. Piternov throws about 1. There's a 1-2 from Piternov. Left hook again.
Well, with the way he fights, Andy Gardiner's going to need a good chin, and he's showing a decent one here tonight. Although Piternov hasn't shown a lot of power in his pro career, which makes you wonder about his approach here. Only 4 stoppages in those 13 wins.
Left hook from Gardiner.
Come back.
Piternov flicks a jab and then goes to the southpaw stance in the middle of the ring. Straight left from Piternov, then he switches to orthodox and lands a right.
Pichernov's career has been somewhat of a circus act at times. He took part in a prize-fighter-esque tournament in Russia called Tough Fight, where each fight is one 12-minute round. Doesn't go for or against your professional record. He took part in that, and there's also footage of him floating around the internet sparring 2 guys at once, and not 2 guys rotating in, but 2 individuals coming at him at the same time, as if he were a character in Streets of Rage.
That's interesting. Well, he has only one Andy Gardiner to deal with, and Gardiner work rate may seem like 2 or 3 guys. Well, I have a feeling that YouTube video, the views are going to spike now.
Oh, absolutely.
End of round 6, scheduled for 8. See some action from round 6.
Piternov still content, staying along the ropes and waiting for openings. And you see, when he does let his hands go, he's landing some very clean shots. Gardiner is absolutely there to be hit. A Benitez clone, he is not.
Round 7 about to commence. He touched gloves. Not a big fan of that, Corey.
When you're fighting as hard as Andy Gardiner is, you can give him the pass.
Do it before, do it after.
Piternov, let's give him credit. He's very accurate when he lets his hands go. But Mark, Piternov, like a lot of pure counterpunchers and slicksters like this, they always think that they're winning the round, and they give more credence to defense than the judges actually do. So Piternov may think he's ahead on the scorecards right now.
That's all, and then he lands in 1 or 2 of those type of right hands, but Gardiner comes back, lands a left to the body. Piternov trying to fight out.
And defense-first fighters are kind of counting the punches that they're missing, thinking like that.
Made him miss and made him pay a little bit with the left to the body. But Gardiner gets credit for that little flurry in the corner, so goes both ways. And 9 times out of 10, the guy who's making the fight is going to get the credit for it. Left from Gardiner misses. Left to the body from Piternov.
I can't tell if there's a new cut on the face of Andy Gardiner or if he now has a bloody nose as well.
I think it's around the nose a little bit. Good jab from Gardiner.
Those body shots seem to affect Piternov just a little bit. He's leaning to one side. He backed off very quickly after that left hook to the body.
Counter left from Piternov. Left to the body again from Piternov. Uppercut and a left hook.
On top of this being a step up, Mark, for Gardiner, this is the first time in his pro career that he's faced a guy who is truly his size. He's been incredibly larger than a lot of his opponents so far. As is usually the case for light heavyweights when they come up, they're kind of fighting blown-up middleweights, guys that aren't fighting in the appropriate weight class. He's fighting a guy who belongs there with a good set of skills, making it tough on him here tonight.
Good end of round 7. I think another cut is open up above the right eye now of Gardiner. That started squirting out just as the bell.
See some of the action from round 7. Gardiner, like 5 left hooks in a row. I think one of those landed, and this is that slippery defense from Piternov. But again, just overwhelming work from Gardiner at times. As long as he keeps throwing, Piternov is deterred from letting his hands go. But more good work from Piternov in that round as well, as evidenced on the face of Andy Gardiner.
8th and final round. Now you guys can touch gloves.
You find that acceptable?
Acceptable. Gardiner and Piternov. Gardiner going at it. You never know, this fight could be close. It's definitely close in Piтерnov's eyes. And he's gonna contend whether he wins or loses. Look at how badly I beat him up. He's bleeding all over the place. That left eye is already squirting blood as we start round 8.
Good short right hand from Piternov. And visually, he certainly has a case that he's the one winning this fight.
Let her go, Andy. Come on, buddy.
The fights aren't decided on before and after photos.
Uppercut on the inside. Gardiner continuing to move his hands. Ducks underneath the left hook.
Well, the steam has gone a little bit on a lot of Gardiner's punches on the inside. He's kind of tapping and touching. In the early going, he was really cranking some of those hooks. But this is what Gardiner and his team wanted, Mark. They wanted that big step up.
A great learning experience. I mean, I think he's ahead on the fight. I think Gardiner would take these cuts as almost like a badge for him.
Something he hasn't had to deal with as a professional.
Throw, Andy. Throw. Andy, let it go, buddy.
It's been a good, tough fight with Patrick Tessier early in his career, but aside from that, no one's been able to get him off of him. Piternov has made him think.
Gardiner knocks the mouthpiece of Piternov out. I don't know why Gardiner stepped back on that.
That surprises me, and Gardiner's corner isn't happy about that. He probably should have jumped on him. He did not have to.
Exactly. It's when the referee decides it.
Very gentlemanly of Andy Gardiner, but maybe not the wisest choice.
Both guys bloody. They're taking this home the last 30 seconds of this round. Last 30 seconds of this fight.
This fight was almost scheduled for 10 rounds. Is maybe a good thing that it isn't, because that eye on Andy Gardiner is slowly swelling shut in addition to gushing blood. That said, this is one of the better rounds in a little while for Gardiner.
Big shot from Piternov as they bring it home here in Gatineau. Gardiner and Piternov. Well deserved. Now I don't mind if they shake hands again. As we see the end of the fight here. Both these guys landing some good shots on the inside.
Gardiner fought like he wanted to close the show and kind of laboring a bit in the 6th and 7th, but he came out flying in the 8th. Piternov, again, it's going to be interesting to see what the judges saw, how much weight they'll put on all the slipping that Piternov had to do. Those short little combinations.
We are fighting in Gardiner's hometown. Not to say this would be a hometown. I think Gardiner won the fight, but it could be a little bit. It should be a little bit closer than it looked like it was going to be early. Still waiting the decision. Let's go up to ring announcer Pierre Barnier. He has a decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, before reading the scorecards, they went toe-to-toe for 8 rounds. Let's give them both a tremendous round of applause. Alors, mesdames, mesdemoiselles, messieurs, voici la décision des juges here, the judge's decision. Le juge Guérin scores it 80-72. Le juge Paquette, 78-74. And le juge Procopio has it 77-75 for the winner by unanimous decision, Andrew Gardiner.
There you have it. Andy Gardiner. 80-72, I don't know about that, but the other two cards are more in line, 6-2 and 5-3. Well-deserved victory. Good effort from Konstantin Piternov. Both guys shed some blood. Good inside battle. And Andy Gardiner will be making his way over to talk to Corey. Let's throw up to Corey Urban with the winner and still undefeated Andy Gardiner.
Here with Andy Gardiner. Andy, you look like you had fun in there, but I don't see how that could be the case.
That was a war. That was exactly what I expected. That was exactly what I wanted. I learned a lot in that fight.
You're happy that you took the step up and faced a guy like Piternov, who a lot of guys wouldn't have faced at 6-0.
Oh, I'm more than happy. I learned more in that fight than I could against anyone else that I fought so far.
Did his approach surprise you a little bit? Because I know you guys thought he'd come at you, but he was trying to counter and be cute along the ropes. Was that surprising at all?
That was a little surprising. I expected him to come towards me a little more. He's a big guy. I thought he was bigger than me. I thought he would have come towards me. I thought it would have been a phone booth fight. But I'm happy with it.
The cuts looked really bad, you know, from our monitor and from ringside. Were they bothering you at all?
Yeah, I noticed them, that's for sure. There was a couple times I got blood in the eye, but whatever. I'm a boxer, that's what happens.
Well, you almost had that fight with Elie Alvarez. You almost took another step up. Do you think you're ready for a step up against a guy like that next time out?
Anything could happen.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing anything you want to put in the ring there. It was a fantastic fight. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Corey.
Mark, back to you.